Now I want to talk about the actual 6.5 strikes of the lukting bun. Now we call it a 6.5 point pole because there are actually considered to be 6 major strikes or blocks of the pole, and then this other half point, which we consider the tip of the pole to be the half point. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the idea is there are 6 main strikes and a half point strike, but there are actually many more movements than that in the form. But the 6 main strikes are, the first one is known as taiguan. Taiguan is raising pole, and you use the taiguan snapping upwards. So it snaps down to nganguan. So you can see the nganguan, or the downward elastic snapping pole, is almost encompassed as part of the taiguan motion. So you have taiguan is the strike, or the movement, but nganguan is actually kind of part of it. So the snap up to taiguan. I use this sometimes as a block, sometimes as a strike. I can even use this as a choke. So that's my taiguan. Now the next strike or block of the lukting bun is known as gitguan. Now gitguan literally means high gate opening pole. So anytime you strike or block up high, whether it's up this direction or this direction, they're not sort of distinguished between. So there isn't sort of a ngoy and a loy gitguan, although you could probably use those terms to describe one that goes out and one that goes in. But as far as I've been taught, they've always just been referred to as gitguan anytime you're on the high line. So gitguan can go up, can go across. Now on the next strike or block is called satguan. And this satguan means low gate opening pole. Not to be confused with the satguan, which is decapitating pole or head chopping off pole that comes at the beginning of the form. That's a different sat. It's a homophone in Chinese. Like when I say tan sao, pak sao, or sao king, it's a homophone. It's not the same word in Chinese. So getting back to that, we're talking about satguan as a low gate opening pole. Now we can open the low gate in either direction. We can open it down and out, or we can open it down and in. But in either case, they're known as satguan. And if you wanted to, I suppose you could refer to one as a loy and one as a ngoy, inward and outward. Although I've never been taught them to be referred to that way. So those are your satguan, or low gate opening poles. Now we also have something called languan. Languan is a horizontal cross or banister pole. Almost like, well, it's lan sao in Sirim Tao and Chun. We've got this banister arm, the thing you hold on to when you go down the stairs. Well, that's what lan literally means, is banister. Well, in this case, remember, now the pole takes the place of my arm. So instead of my arm being bent as a lan, I now have this long bridge, extended wooden lan. So that's called languan. And I can use languan to strike way out, or coming, I can either hit way out at the tip, somewhere in the middle, or I can even hit someone using the stock, what I would call a stock strike. So it could be any of those things, and that's languan.